The parking lot outside Jefferson Mall was loud with weekend chatter, cars honking, music playing, people laughing. But all that noise stopped when a boy's scream echoed across the lot. "Get on the ground," an officer yelled, slamming a black teenager against the hood of a car. The boy, maybe 17, gasped, trying to speak. "I didn't do anything. I just bought shoes. Don't lie," another officer barked, twisting his arm. Shoppers stopped and stared, some recording with their phones. A few whispered, "He's just a kid," but no one dared step closer. The boy's shopping bag fell to the pavement, sneakers spilling out, receipt fluttering in the wind. The first officer sneered, "Stealing and mouthing off. Bad combo, kid," but the boy wasn't struggling anymore. He just whispered through clenched teeth, "You're making a big mistake." "Yeah, and what are you gonna do? Call your mom?" the officer mocked. The other cops laughed. Then, a black SUV screeched to a halt a few feet away. Another, then another. Doors swung open, and in seconds, men and women in dark suits stepped out, 10 of them, all flashing badges. "FBI," a woman's voice boomed. "Step away from the minor. Now." The officers froze mid-motion, hands still on the boy. One stammered, Wait, what's going on?" The lead agent walked forward, her badge glinting under the sun. "That boy," she said coldly, "is Agent Malik Carter's son. You just assaulted the son of a federal agent." Every bystander gasped. The boy looked up, eyes wide but steady. One of the agents knelt beside him, checking his wrists. "You okay, Jaden?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah, I told them." The first officer stepped back, his face pale. We didn't know." The lead agent didn't blink. "You didn't care, and that's the problem." Within seconds, 2 of the FBI agents had the officer's hands behind their backs. The cameras kept rolling. The crowd, once silent, began to cheer. And as the boy stood, wiping his face, he looked right at the officer who tackled him and said quietly, "Next time, listen when someone tells you who they are." The officer's knees seemed to buckle as one of the FBI agents cuffed him. His partner stuttered, "This is insane, we didn't even know he was connected." The lead agent turned sharply, her eyes blazing. "Connected? He's a citizen. You don't need to be connected to deserve respect." Her voice carried across the lot, making the crowd fall silent again. Jaden's hands trembled slightly as another agent helped him sit on the edge of a black SUV. His wrist was red where the officer had twisted it. "I wasn't even resisting," he whispered. One agent handed him a water bottle. "We saw the whole thing on the mall cameras, kid. Your dad's on his way." That made the officers freeze even more. His dad's coming here," one muttered, glancing nervously at the SUVs. Before anyone could answer, another SUV rolled in, larger, tinted windows, engine growling. When it stopped, the door opened, and out stepped a tall black man in a sharp gray suit, his expression unreadable. His badge was clipped to his belt, Special Agent Malik Carter. The same man whose name every officer in that district had heard before, known for cracking corruption cases, inside the police department itself. He walked straight toward his son, ignoring everyone else. "You okay, Jaden?" "I'm fine, Dad," the boy said softly. "They thought I stole the shoes." Malik's jaw tightened. He turned slowly to the officers, his voice low but steady. "You accused my son of theft, without proof, and assaulted him in public." "Sir, Agent Carter, we just followed protocol," the senior officer started. "Protocol?" Malik stepped closer until their badges almost touched. "Your protocol includes throwing a 17-year-old on the ground for having a receipt in his hand." No one answered. The FBI agent stood behind him, silent, like a wall. Malik looked at the lead agent. "Document everything. I want every officer's body cam, mall footage, and civilian videos collected." She nodded instantly. "Already in progress, sir." He turned back to the officers. "You'll be hearing from Internal Affairs by morning." The crowd began clapping, slow at first, then louder. One woman shouted, "About time someone stood up to them." Jaden looked at his father, pride and relief mixing in his eyes. Malik put a hand on his shoulder and said quietly, "Justice doesn't wear a color, son. But some people need to be reminded what it looks like." Chief Reynolds arrived minutes later, pushing through the crowd as reporters began swarming the parking lot. Cameras flashed, microphones stretched forward, voices overlapping. Was the teen really assaulted? Are the officers being arrested? Did the FBI just detain local police? The chief's face was already sweating before he reached Malik. Agent Carter, this looks bad. Can we discuss this inside? Malik didn't move. No, Chief, you'll discuss it right here, in front of the same people who watched your men throw my son to the ground. The chief's voice trembled slightly. You're making a scene. Malik's expression hardened. No, Chief, they made a scene. I'm making a statement. Behind him, the 10 FBI agents stood with folded arms, watching as the local officers avoided eye contact. The air was thick with tension, every camera recording, every bystander whispering. One young woman from the crowd spoke out, voice shaking but loud enough. We saw everything. He didn't do a thing. Malik nodded to her. You'll have a chance to give your statement, ma'am. We'll make sure this case doesn't disappear. The chief's jaw tightened. Agent Carter, you're crossing a line. Malik turned sharply toward him. A line? The only line crossed today was when your men thought they could tackle a teenager because of how he looked. That line's been crossed too many times. He pulled his phone from his coat pocket, tapped a few times, then looked up. I just sent the footage to both the FBI director and the Civil Rights Division. They'll have it before you even get back to your desk. The crowd gasped. The chief's face went pale. You sent it already? Everything, Malik said calmly. Body cams, mall security, eyewitness videos. There's no hiding this one. For a moment, all you could hear were the clicks of cameras and the rustle of the flag above the mall, fluttering in the wind. Then Malik looked back at his son, his tone softening. Let's go home, Jaden. You've had enough for one day. Jaden nodded, glancing once more at the officers who were now being loaded into patrol cars, except this time, they were the ones with their hands behind their backs. As Malik opened the SUV door, one reporter shouted, Agent Carter, what's your message to America after this? He paused, turning slightly toward the cameras. My message, he said quietly, never mistake silence for weakness. Some of us are just waiting for the right moment to speak, with proof. And with that, he got into the car, leaving the stunned crowd and broken officers behind.